I know wine played a big role for you early on. Are there any key takeaways from your time on the wine side that's benefited you as a brewer?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I spent 8 years in the wine business, and for 4 of those years, I was moonlighting as a brewer. So I was doing both. I think I worked for a winery in Central California, not in the Central Valley, Central Coast of California, called Almaden. And Almaden at the time was probably the number 2 or number 3 largest winery in the country, behind Gallo and Paul Masson or somebody. Um, and but the winery I started at had a 4-acre barrel cellar, and the barrels were stacked 5 high. Every single drop of Almaden wine went through wood in that winery, and so I learned a lot about barrel handling and oak and toast levels and all that kind of stuff. That was really cool, and that was those first few years I was in that business were really fun and just eye opening. But a couple of takeaways from that experience, just from the technical side, learning about wood and barrel aging and the importance of that subtle oxidation and that you get through barrel aging, running a centrifuge, those kind of things, filtration, all the stuff you don't get hands-on experience at college, I got in the wine business before I went into brewing. So that was very helpful. A couple other things that are kind of, I learned the importance of having a good team. And when I say that, the first winery I worked at, we had a team, and it was a union winery. It was AFL-CIO union. And these guys, these folks that worked in this winery were family. I mean, they had worked together for years. I was a newcomer. They gave me a lot of ribbing, but they also welcomed me. And I look back at the 4 years I spent with that group of people going, my gosh, that was probably one of the best work crews I've ever worked with. And then I got transferred to another winery in their system, and it was a little bit more, rambunctious and contentious. And then over the years, I've had different work crews at every place I've worked, obviously. And I think I look back to that first role I had as an assistant winemaker, and just how important it was that people realized that they were all trying to do the same thing. We were all, shooting for the same successes, and we all worked together to get there. And then I also learned, when you have people that are kind of negative or don't like to follow the program, how challenging that can be, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that was my first work experience, and I've always tried to capture that first place, that vibe, that sense of belonging and that sense of togetherness that group had in every place that I've worked since. And I've had some success with that and some not, but
Yeah.
it's just, it's interesting that, I look back at my time at the winery and I remember the people more than I remember the work. And, and that's kind of cool. It was a neat experience, but I still love wine. I love barrel aging beer. I love playing around with wood. I don't get to do much of it anymore. That the whole wood aged beer thing has kind of gone down the tubes. But certainly, and I certainly learned how to taste Brettanomyces in the wine business.
Sure.
That's a major flaw in an American red wine is Brettanomyces, and so I had to learn how to pick that out when we were doing barrel tastings. So, yeah, there's a lot of crossover, but yeah, I picked up a lot from those 8 years.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're going to maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.